Welcome. So this is an example of a deployment file created for deploying a Spring Boot application onto a Kubernetes cluster. Doesn't matter where the Kubernetes cluster is running, is it's running on the cloud or it's running on your local laptop, it's running on-premise infrastructure, it doesn't matter. Whichever cloud it doesn't matter. It's AWS, Azure, Google, Kubernetes. The deployment and service will be same. So here we have API version again apps/v1 kind deployment. Metadata is the name of the deployment. So this is the name of the deployment and this is the label of the deployment which will be used in the service here to reference to this deployment. And here we are defining like the spec replicas. So this deployment will create exactly one pod. If we want multiple pods of this replicas or the multiple pods of this deployment, then we can increase the number here. And selector match label. So this is the name with which it is going to look for the deployment. And now this is the template. So whenever this pod will get deployed, the pod will be running a container with this name and the image will be picked from here. And of course the image will be pulled always, and the container port, the port in which the application will be running, is 8080. Remember that we can have multiple containers here because this is a list, so we are running over just one container, one image, and so one container. So and we can have multiples of this single container by now increasing the number of replicas, so it will increase multiple pods. So now the deployment is going to reference this particular pod with the help of this name. So now what what we want to do is we want to create a service on top of it. So the service we can basically create in another file called service.yaml, and we can have of course API version v1 kind as service and give the name to this service. So this is a unique name you have to give. The target port is of course specifying this one. This is the container port, which is the target port. And the port on which we want to access it on our local computer or from outside world is this one. And on which deployment this service should act. Every service should be created or exposed on a deployment. So this is the deployment it will look for, which will come and try to find a match here. We can also define a type. So here we can say after spec, we can say type of the service as node port, or we can also say load balancer. So whatever we want, we can say it should be type. So node port, or it can be cluster IP or external IP, load balancer, anything, whatever is your need. So this is how you basically create your service and deployments. And the command to run them is very simple. You just go to this path wherever these files are located, and you just type the command as kubectl apply -f, and you give the name of the deployment, hit enter, and then you can give the name of the service and hit enter, and then your deployment and the service will be created. And after that you can say get deployment command to see the details of the deployment, and then you can say get service command to see the details of the service. So this is how you can also create deployments and service via YAML file and deploy them on your Kubernetes cluster, no matter where is your cluster running, whether it's local or it's on premise or it's on any other cloud. Thank you.